Sir Roger Moore, the Dutch title of your biography is For Altijd James Bond, Forever James Bond. Is that a blessing or a burden?
Well, I'm very happy to be associated with something that was successful, and it has given me, I suppose, enough notoriety or celebrity to be of use to UNICEF as a spokesperson.
But everybody is talking about Bond and not about your other movies. Is that a pity?
No, I write about other movies I did. I've made many forgettable movies.
Forgettable. Bond is almost synonymous with stunts, and this is the opening scene of The Spy Who Loved Me.
Where did you learn to ski so well?
You know,
be honest. No tricks.
Shall I tell the truth?
Yes, please.
I learned to get people who look like me.
So can
now
you
look how brave this fellow is. He nearly gets killed with this ski because it's going to touch the parachute as it opens. That could have penetrated and that would have killed him.
But can you explain how they shoot this scene?
They were in the Arctic Circle for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, waiting because Rick Sylvester, who did that jump, was a lawyer who were hated almost as much as bankers. So they say. I don't know. I have some very good friends who are lawyers.
And bankers.
And bankers. I'm very happy. And Rick Sylvester was a lawyer who was not happy with being a lawyer. So he liked to mountaineer, and he loved climbing up mountains, but he got bored with climbing down them again. So he decided he would jump off using a parachute. And this was seen by our producers, who were becoming Broccoli, and they engaged him for $40,000 to do that jump. Right. And he did the jump. They'd waited 3 weeks to get the weather absolutely right because he wouldn't go while there was any wind. And then he wanted to do it again for another $40,000.
Did you ever do your own stunts?
Pardon?
Did you ever do your own stunts?
I did the love scenes.
All by yourself?
Or without any help from anybody.
Bert Heemskerk's favorite scene is the scene with the crocodiles. Yeah. Why is it your favorite scene?
I'm intrigued to know whether you were stepping yourselves on the crocodiles or whether it was the stuntman, because it's amazing what happens there.
Well, first of all, there were 1,500 alligators in this alligator ponds, and the man, his name was Ross Kananga, who ran the place. His father actually was eaten by one of these beasts, and he said, you know, this one got my dad. And all he ever carried was a pistol, which to me didn't strike me as being very good against these wretched things, because they're not very nice.
Oh.
And he said they'd cleared them out of the area where I was on the little island. But all I could see in the dark of the bushes were eyes that were going like that. And you could hear funny... And the crocodiles I was going to jump over were actually rubber with charges in, so that, boom, they were going like this and flopping. Oh. If I'd gone in the water, then they would have said, it's better than chicken legs, and they would have gone after me, especially as I was wearing alligator shoes, which probably belonged to one of their cousins. And so... I did that run. I was actually flying across because I was determined not to fall in that water. Oh, yeah. And then Rick did it with the live crocs.
Shall we watch the scene and see how...
No, Ross, rather, Ross Kananga.
As he's about to jump, the crocodiles all do this because they're saying, here comes that guy again.
Janine,
they actually ruined a pair of shoes because they got the heel.
Do you still watch the movies when they're on television? Do you hate them?
No, I had to, I suppose, go to 2 or 3 premieres in various, the Royal Premiere in London always, and then probably one in America or Japan. Well, that was enough, because I'd actually seen the day's work every day and the rough assembly, and it's very difficult to sit there in an audience after you've seen it 3 or 4 times, because you can't be seen to be...
Janine, wat maakt James Bond voor jou zo'n aantrekkelijk persoon?
James Bond of...
Nou, je mag kiezen. Het valt samen, hè, in dit programma.
Oh ja. Ik heb daar altijd vanaf heel jongs af aan heb ik altijd Bondfilms gekeken. Met mijn broers ook. Ik bedoel, ik was waarschijnlijk een jaar of 8 of zo, denk ik. 8 of 9. En ik moet heel eerlijk zeggen dat mijn eerste Bondfilm was met Sean Connery. Maar dat was You Only Live Twice. Dat kan me nog heel goed herinneren. En daarna heb ik echt alle Bondfilms keek ik altijd. En ik weet ook nog wat mijn moeder die was er nooit zo heel erg blij mee toen ik klein was. Dat ik al die gewelddadige scènes bekeek. Ik kon me herinneren dat ze op een gegeven moment ook bij Never Say Never Again... dat mocht ik absoluut niet zien. En pas later... Maar,
en wat vond je leuk aan zijn interpretatie van James Bond?
Nee, voor mij is hij de meest... hij heeft altijd ook de humor daar. En er is iets in zijn ogen wat je nu gewoon natuurlijk nog steeds zo ziet.
It's blood.
Ja, dat is heel bijzonder. Dat hebben voor mij geen van de andere Bonds.
Did you always want to be James Bond?
No, they said when I eventually did Bond that I'd been on the short list together with Sean. What's his name?
That Scottish boy.
Yeah, the Scotch lad. No, with Sean and with an English actor called Patrick McGoohan, who did a series called Danger Man and The Prisoner. But I don't know, because I knew nothing about Bond and I was doing The Saint. And it was only... I was very clever because I met the producers just after Dr. No was made, Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman. And where else? I met them on the gaming tables at the Curzon House Club and in Aspinalls in London. And I always let them win, because I knew one day they'd offer me a job.
And they did.
Yeah, and I tried to get my money back.
But maybe it was a logical step after the Saint and after the Persuaders. It was more or less logical, maybe inevitable to become Bond.
It was sort of inevitable if you believe in coincidence. I made a film at Warner Brothers in 1959, I think, which was called Gold of the Seven Saints. And after that, I made a film in South Africa, Gold, in the gold mines. Seven Bonds I did in 007, and The Saint. So Gold of the Seven Saints was really sort of spelling out what my life was going to be.
But Sir Roger Moore was a totally different style James Bond than before, than Sean Connery.
Well, my attitude to Bond was that how could he be a spy and have every barman in the world know him? You walk into a bar, they say, "Oh, martini, shaken, not stirred, Mr. Bond." Everybody knew him. That's not a spy. So I played it tongue-in-cheek. Because you see, Bond to me in those days was like comic strip adventure, and I just had fun doing it, and I hoped the audiences had fun as well. I see a lot of criticism on the internet, the blogs, that people say, "Oh, you know, he was too light, he was too campy, they hated my safari suits." Well, you know, they still wear safari suits in South Africa.
Was it difficult to say the famous line, "My name's Bond, James Bond," in another way than Sean Connery did?
Well, I was always frightened that the only thing that I was frightened of was saying my name is and it become like, you know, my name is Bond, James Bond. But it didn't, and I managed to get it without being too sibilant on the S's.
But probably there was a lot of pressure, a new James Bond.
What, learning the line?
No, not learning the line, but just becoming the new James Bond.
Yeah, well, I didn't think of it that way. You know, 4,000 actors play Hamlet, and why not? Why can't everybody have a go at it? I think, you know, today they're very lucky. They've got Daniel Craig, who's injected new life into old Jim Bond. 47 years it's been going, which is extraordinary. There's no other franchise like it in the history of motion pictures.
You actually never played a villain.
A villain? No, I would love to play villains.
Yeah?
Well, they have all the best lines. Poor old Jim Bond, he comes in and says, "My name's Bond, James Bond." And then the villain says, "Yes, but you're going to die, Mr. Bond, and you're going to die very slowly, and I'm now going to carve you up in the middle, you know, with this great big sword that's going to go round and round." They go on forever. And they don't have to work hard as hard as the actor playing Bond.
So is there a chance that Sir Roger Moore ever will play a villain?
Well, at my advanced age, it's unlikely that I would live long enough to play the villain.
Villains die young?
Oh, they do in Bond films.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a villain or a leading lady, because the minute the girl goes to bed with Bond, she's dead at the end of the first reel. Although I understand in the new Bond, Quantum of Solace, he doesn't actually take her to bed. Which must be very disappointing for the girl.
In your book, you write that you never regret things you did in your life, expect a few things, and one of the scenes we are going to look at is one of those things you regret.
Elephant, real elephant. 60 baht. You are a very handsome man, 40 baht. For you, mister, 20 baht.
I'll tell you what, Sonny, I'll give you 20,000 baht if you can make this heap go any faster.
20,000 baht.
I'm afraid I have to owe you.
Bloody tourist. 20,000 baht.
Why do you regret this?
Well, I think since for 17 years I've been working for UNICEF, to knock a small child off the edge of a boat is pretty callous. I can see why I did it, because he realized that he was being chased and that kid could really get hurt.
And it has anything to do with dirty water?
Dirty
water.
The water in that the clong, they call them, absolutely filthy. I went in twice. Once because the boat was out of control, and I could save the world by getting out of it. And the other time, because you have a heavy Ford 8 engine, and you pull it towards you to go this way, and if you pull it too far, you just go straight over backwards, which I did. And you have a long, long tail with the propeller on, which is going, and all I knew was that I'd gone in the water and that damn thing was getting very close to my head, and I made the mistake of opening my eyes on the bottom of a clong just by an undertaker's shop. And I saw what he did with customers that didn't pay.
When you travel, Sir Roger Moore, for UNICEF, let's say to Africa or so, do all the little children still recognize you?
No, not when you're in sort of remote areas, but if you're sort of areas like Mexico and Central South America, then they have the television. There's a television somewhere in the town, and they get to see things that are on television. But otherwise, the point is you haven't gone there to be a celebrity when you're visiting areas where UNICEF is working in the field. You're there to witness what the conditions are and what the UNICEF workers do.
Do you consider your work for UNICEF as more important than being James Bond?
Oh, much more important. I mean, being James Bond or Simon Templar, and though that's only play acting, UNICEF is real life. You're not playing with children's lives. You know, my UNICEF connection started here in Amsterdam in '91 with Audrey Hepburn had asked me to come and co-host the Danny Kaye International Children's Awards. And then I did it the following year, but it was listening to Audrey at a press conference where I said, you know, I didn't want to take part because I didn't know enough about UNICEF. She said, don't worry, they don't want to talk about movies, which she was quite right, they did, but she wouldn't let them. And Audrey was such a passionate and such a wonderful ambassador that I was hooked completely by her passion, her sincerity. And I've come across nothing but good from the people that represent UNICEF in the field. They're all as passionate and not quite so eloquent as Audrey was.